Pamela Anderson has lived an incredible life, and her story is worth telling. She was one of the most beautiful models and actresses of the 1990s. She also endured a lot of trauma in her life, but strived to succeed as a model and an actress. Join FactsVerse to see some rare photos of Pamela Anderson before fame and plastic surgery, and let's learn about her journey through life. Pamela Denise Anderson was born July 1, 1967 in Ladysmith, Canada. From this small town in British Columbia came one of America's most famous models and actresses. Who knew? Her father, Barry, was a furnace repairman, and her mother, Carol, a waitress. Her heritage is from Finland and Germany, and her grandparents emigrated from the Russian Empire to move to Canada. These Germanic and Nordic roots are what gave Pam her beauty and famous blonde hair. Actually, that's not true. She was born with brown hair and later dyed it blonde. Life growing up for Pam wasn't always the easiest. She had an interest in sports from a young age. She joined her high school volleyball team and was interested in keeping fit from an early age. After graduating high school in 1985, she moved to Vancouver. There she worked as a fitness instructor, and it seemed this would be her destiny. Pamela was discovered by accident, and we have the Jumbotron to thank for it. She was once attending a Canadian Football League game, and the giant screen captured the reactions of different fans. Pamela was captured on screen, and there were suddenly many fans distracted from the game all of a sudden. She was spotted by someone from a brewing company who hired her on the spot to become a spokesmodel for the company. While this was a short-lived gig, it was sufficient to make her turn away from being a fitness instructor and start a new career as a model. Her modeling and acting career. Pamela Anderson became a spokesmodel for Labatt's beer due to the fact that she was wearing a t-shirt from the company during that Canadian Football League game. This was in 1989. And she gained fame from the company for being its spokesmodel. This was enough for her to be featured on the cover of Playboy Magazine that same year. She was still in her early 20s at that point. She decided to move to the U.S. to fully pursue modeling and was once again chosen to be on the cover of Playboy in February of 1990. It was around this time that she decided to opt for plastic surgery to enhance her looks and further her fame. She received breast implants that increased her size to 34D and later on upgraded to 34DD. She now had the wild blonde look that was becoming very popular in the 80s and continued into the 90s. She changed her look a lot to keep up with the times, and this was certainly a wise business decision. Old photos showed that Pamela, though a natural brunette, liked the blonde look and felt her best with it. Her high school sweetheart, Ty Anderson, shared photos of her during their school years and at a party in 1984, and she can be seen sporting the blonde look and wearing a huge smile on her face. Back to the 90s, as Pamela Anderson became more popular as a model, she decided the next step was to try acting. She first gained fame with the role of one of the Tool Time girls on the first 2 seasons of Home Improvement. After leaving this role, she had her first major role in Baywatch, and this was the show that made her a star and a mainstream celebrity. Since then, it's largely been uphill in her career. She's modeled for several prestigious magazines like Playboy, W, GQ, Marie Claire, and Elle Canada. She's not as much in the limelight today, but she still makes the occasional public appearance, and there's now a memoir called Love Pamela being released on January 31st, 2023. There's also a documentary being released on Netflix, and there's a Hulu show about her relationship with Tommy Lee called Pam and Tommy. Pamela Anderson's life. Of course, her life hasn't been a steady rise to the top. She's faced many challenges and even traumas to overcome. As a model and actress, Pam would often have to deal with lots of attention, and this could lead to sexual violence. It wasn't until 2014 that she publicly revealed the sexual violence she experienced as a child and as a teen. From the age of 6 to 12, she was repeatedly raped by a female babysitter. When she was 12, she was raped by a 25-year-old man, and when she was 14, she was gang raped by her boyfriend and 6 friends. These extremely harrowing experiences were kept secret, and we don't know if she even told her parents or her friends. With such trauma, one wonders how she managed to succeed in life, but it's a testament of her character that she did. And of course, as her profile grew, the paparazzi followed like leeches. She's had several relationships with high-profile men, and this was often fodder for the tabloid press. Her relationship with Tommy Lee was often discussed, and it was so famous it became the basis for the new Hulu show Pam and Tommy. They were married for 3 years before their divorce. She then married singer Kid Rock in 2006, and they divorced a year later. Her last marriage to Dan Hayhurst was her 5th and was in 2020. They divorced in 2022. Pamela has 2 children. As she's become more famous and with a renewed interest in her life due to her upcoming memoir and the Hulu show and Netflix documentary, the media has gotten in touch with ex-boyfriends before her fame. Some of these boyfriends have shared rare photos of Pamela Anderson before fame and plastic surgery. Pamela Anderson today. So now that we've seen a few rare photos of Pam before fame and plastic surgery, and there's still a few more, let's catch up with her to see what she's doing today. Her upcoming memoir, Love Pamela, will feature details about her life and rise to fame, as well as a few original poems she's written. She felt the need to tell her story as much of the narrative surrounding her life has been hijacked by the tabloids. She's also given her voice to notable causes. Despite being known for her body, Pamela Anderson has spoken out against pornography and the dangers it has on society. She's also advocated for the importance of free speech and a free press. She campaigned for the freedom of imprisoned journalist Julian Assange. While Donald Trump was president, she appeared on Fox News and openly requested him to pardon Assange. She became an American citizen in 2004 and was planning to permanently live in Canada and eventually bring her parents to the country. But in 2021, she moved back to Canada and stated this was a permanent move. She's also still active as an actress, with her latest film role in the 2022 film Alone at Night. She's also hosting her own show called Pamela's Garden of Eden. So while she might not be as much in the limelight compared to earlier days, we still haven't seen the last of her yet. Pamela has had her ups and downs, but she's lived an incredible life, and there's still more that she plans to show us. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Pamela Anderson? Let us know in the comments section below.